It's not that I don't believe private companies should be able to do whatever they want. It's that I believe in equal application of the law, and certain companies acting in similar ways to big tech do not have the liability protections that they have.
I didn't say you weren't for freedom. I said you claim to be the party of freedom, and then when it comes to it, you fail.
So effectively the same thing.
So am I able to cut in here now? Because basically,
no,
yes,
because basically everything
distinction without a difference.
Yeah, just everything here that Slippery Sean just said is just completely wrong, and also based on like huge presuppositions. It's really, really embarrassing. Basically, I mean, where do we want to start? First of all, you say there's clear evidence that this is happening. Blah blah blah. No, there's not actually. If you look at the data and you look at the studies that there's the countless different research that has been done on this subject, you will see that there's actually an overwhelming consensus that conservative content thrives on virtually every social media platform. Now, am I saying conservatives are never banned on social media? Absolutely not. Conservatives absolutely.
Donald Trump was censored on election night, dude. Like, I'm sorry.
Yes,
like,
conservatives
feel away. He was inciting violence. That's why he was
election night.
Can I finish?
He said he didn't think he lost.
I would like to hear him finish.
Yo, Phil, chill, buddy. I know you got the alcohol there. Maybe you should take a little break on that.
This is Cavassier 21, sir. It must be sipped and enjoyed. You don't knock it back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, also with Section 230, there's a big misunderstanding here with the platform versus publisher talk. Publishers verify every single thing that they publish. The New York Times verifies. They check everything that goes out, and then they say, yes, I verify that, or I approve of that. It can now be published. That constitutes a publisher. Platforms are allowed to platform just that. They're allowed to platform speech. And I know, obviously, it sounds a little naive there. I'm sorry. But I'm reading here from Cato Institute, which kind of gives a much better explanation on Section 230. Section 230 does not state that the act of moderating content makes an interactive computer service a publisher. Section 230 merely states that an interactive computer service is not the publisher of most third-party content and is free to moderate content. So, no, them using Section 230 protections to moderate their platform is completely within their legal rights, and time again this has been voted on. Even Kavanaugh in 2018 said that the act of platforming speech does not make that platform an agent of the state. It is not then held to freedom of speech standards necessarily. So is there a conversation to be had about big tech having way too much power right now? 100%. Absolutely. Is there something we need to be talk about corporate power and everything else? Absolutely. But this idea that conservatives are being censored is just not borne out in any data at all.
But they really want to slur.
Hold on. Are you not aware?
Actually, I would just want to say.
Are you not aware, Stephen?
Hold on, really quick.
Are you not aware of that? How are you going to say something like that when it's
Stephen Crowder?
Stephen Crowder being banned.
Hold on. This is everybody's.
I know.
I know everybody's.
Why can't I say it?
When I talk,
right?
Listen, hold on.
Okay,
So the reality.
Okay, I was very clear that when I talk, nobody else talks. So, okay, who wants to talk?
Me.
I do.
What answer did you expect?
I'm gonna throw it over to Dennis because hasn't have a time to talk yet. Then it'll be CTV.
Stephen Crowder was banned or temporarily suspended or whatever because he's been spreading COVID misinformation. He has a video on global warming where he points at this one area where the ice sheets are actually expanding. Meanwhile, we're losing fucking tons everywhere else. His entire channel is concerned trolling about things that don't matter, making racist jokes, dressing up to pretend to be trans and work out at a gym or something.
Where no one gives a shit.
Where literally everyone at the gym is like,
okay.
Okay, whatever you want, buddy. Whatever, sure. Just can you stop dropping the weights so loudly? That's all we're asking. You can lift whatever you want. I don't care. Literally, peak fucking garbage. But he was banned because of his pure misinformation. That's why he was banned. Maybe if conservatives could stop lying or getting things wrong all the time, they wouldn't be banned off of platforms.
I would simply be correct. That's what I would
exactly.
do.
I would simply
I don't
just be
think
banned.
Right. So here's the
reality. A little bit of a hyperbolic
way. Saying that nobody's getting fucking banned, right?
No,
and then we had this clear example.
No.
We had this clear example.
No,
right?
Nobody.
That's not what I'm saying.
We had this clear example.
Well, let's let TDB say his thing first.
You know what? Can I just say really quickly?
Yeah, critical thinking. TDB say his thing. We'll throw it over to you, Hunter. Allow CTV say, then you can go straight to Hunter. Okay? We still have a good amount of time left. CTV, then Hunter.
Yeah, so like, geez, Hunter, put down the fucking energy. You want to fucking say something to Phil, right? Take a pill of your own fucking medicine. So we'll start from there, right? Now, Steven Crowder was banned. There you go. Shut your fucking mouth when an adult is speaking, young man, right? Let's start there because you were already told by the fucking moderator, so apparently now I have to fucking tell you.
I'm sorry.
So with that being said, the reason why Steven Crowder was fucking banned had everything to do with what he said specifically in his video, right? Which was that he went to addresses that were listed on voter rolls and showed them that these addresses didn't fucking line up with the fucking voter rolls. That's why he was banned off the platform, because he's been doing that same content that Dennis has been talking about for his whole fucking career, right? So if that was the case, why wasn't it done back in the fucking day when he was doing Change My Mind? Shows how much you fucking know about his content anyway. Right.
All right.
Let me ask the audience.
Okay, over to Hunter. Yeah. Wait. I said it was Hunter next.
I just want to point out. I know this is kind of an ad hom attack, and I will address what you said. But as soon as I saw that there was a guy in here named Critically Thinking Veteran, I thought to myself, I guarantee you, this guy is not going to have any critical thinking at all.
3 red flags in one name.
It's like, it's just. Instantly, I'm right. Okay, maybe the example.
Let me know when you plan on starting.
Hold on, wait.
Hunter.
Let me respond here. Okay.
Wait, what?
I'm
wait,
sorry.
what?
Soldier, you're at ease, soldier. At ease, soldier.
That's how
respond.
Okay.
Okay. Let him
finish. You don't even know what the fucking Navy is called.
Wait, I'm speaking. Okay, Hunter.
That example would possibly prove bias towards Steven Crowder at the best.
Right.
If you want to look at an overwhelmed, at statistical analysis, you'll see that there is no systemic conservative bias. There's no big tech bias that's out to get conservatives. That's what we're arguing about here. I'm not saying no conservative has ever been banned or been mistreated by big tech. Big tech is woefully.
You just did a minute ago.
Hold on, stop.
You don't care about the individuals. It's about ideas being disappeared off the internet, and that nobody should be able to decide.
Ideas are not being disappeared off the
what
internet.
you're allowed to read. No one should be allowed to decide for
Ideas
you.
are not being. Dude, you can literally go to infowars.com right now. Like, how are they?
Slow down.
They're
Okay,
getting
number one.
This is what I mean. Is wait, hold on.
The skeleton behind Sean has yet had to be able to speak.
That is true.
Okay, back to Hunter. You can finish. Okay.
All I was going to say is, I understand that some conservatives haven't always been treated fairly by big tech. We can dispute the details of what happened with Steven Crowder, if he violated TOS by spreading election misinfo and whatnot. But the truth of the matter is, overwhelming statistics and multiple different analyses have shown that there is no ideological bias with Google search results, with YouTube, and that conservatives dominate Facebook and Twitter. So that's kind of my argument there, that there's no systemic bias here.
It's the exact opposite, right? When we've seen the YouTube algorithm, for instance, right, assisting with the alt-right pipeline, the conservatives have done a good job working these algorithms,
so that
there are multiple connections between them, so that it will naturally funnel you, if you leave autoplay on, to one video after another video after another video within their network, right? It pulls you in. I've heard people talk about this, right? Like, they're on some random video, and then they leave the autoplay on, and then hours later, right, they're watching fucking Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro, right? It's YouTube and other companies have shown that
God forbid Sean
are afraid. Yeah, they're afraid of actually fight because conservatives cry so much. They cry and they whine endlessly, right? And so anytime one of them does get
so who's the person that's best to decide for you what's fit for you to read? Who's that person?
That's a totally different conversation, Phil.
Right?
That's what we're talking about here.
Wait,
we're finding out.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. Actual Jake, then Sean.
Okay. All right. Well, who's to decide? The companies that determine the TOS. Pretty easy not to slur.
Oh, that's great. So you want them to decide for you what's fit for you to read
on their platform?
Sure.
If you
want it here,
if you want to
Jake wants people to decide for you.
Okay, we have a minute.
Hey, buddy. Take less brain force, calm down. There needs to be a situation where you shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Wait, okay.
This is what you filibustering.
Actual Jake talk.
Dumb shit right now. So
yes, you showed up in a corn suit. And you're talking about dumb shit.
I can't believe I make you so insecure. Okay. Imagine not being able to be glorious like this, you fucking child.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? I can't believe it. There's no reason I should be less cringe than you on screen. There's no reason. I'm a corn cob. But yet you persist. It's incredible. I respect it. Moving on to the point. The actual point. Yeah, well, I got interrupted 4 times. So the actual point is 5 times. The actual point is, if you want it public, that's fine. You can do that. Then the terms of service would be the Constitution. Fine with that. But then it's a big government thing. You guys can quibble about that. That's totally fine. But as far as worrying about who like what Steven Crowder does and who's getting banned and shit, don't break terms of service on these places that already exist. It's very easy not to say the N-word and not to be wrong about global warming. It's not an opinion. You're not making opinions. You're just lying because it makes you money on the internet. You fool.
Okay. Quickly, we're gonna have Sean go, and then I have the results. The results are in. Sean, go quickly.
Okay. Well, talking about how conservatives grow faster online isn't refuting censorship of conservatives on social media. That's the reason for the censorship. That's why mainstream outlets are calling for greater crackdowns on what they call conspiracy theories on all these platforms. A perfect example of a policy that has a left-leaning bias would be Twitter's misgendering policy. That is fully in line with one side of the political spectrum's view on gender and against the conservative view on gender.
You say the same thing.
Wait, you're just wrong.
Wait. I said, okay. Is anybody else here named Sean? I'm unaware of that. Sean, continue.
Sorry.
Yeah. So there are policies built in. A perfect example of this, again, is something I saw yesterday. You can get banned for COVID misinformation. There was a story that broke yesterday that is complete and utter misinformation about Ron DeSantis undercounting COVID deaths. It was picked up by all these online lefties as Death Santis, another case of that. But if you read the actual article, the CDC person who covers these statistics related to excess deaths says clearly and unambiguously there's nothing at odds with Florida's death statistics. Yet you can push that, but if you question deaths related to COVID, which is a real thing that certain areas measure COVID deaths by, you can get banned off of these platforms. So it seems like all the new terms of service changes that are enforced retroactively seem to cut, in general, not in all cases, the same exact way.
Okay, so I'm going to say quickly, we have the results. And the person who got the least amount of votes to keep was Phil KOE. He has been knocked out of the ring, thrown out of the ring, in Dastardly faction. He broke his neck. He is permanently been destroyed from competition. He's going to need some long-term recovery. Yeah, he got the edge treatment. See you later, buddy.
I'm sorry, Phil.
Hey, folks, I'm Phil KOE at KOE Nation on YouTube and Twitch. It was a pleasure seeing all of you and debating with every last one of you people. Be sure to like, share, subscribe.
And chair shot. Okay, next, we just got Tyler Blutman in here. We're going to start the clock again. We're going to continue the conversation on big tech censorship. You may respond to what Sean said, continue, and welcome, Tyler.
Thank you. Oh, so was Tyler next? I'm sorry. No? Okay, I'll keep going then.
The guy was next, John.
So, I'm sorry. If there's someone else left, I didn't mean to talk over them, but I'll go anyway. So, Sean, I find it interesting.
Not really sorry, but
Sean, I find it interesting that you would bring up the fact that companies don't let you misgender people. Don't let you harass, because that's what it is, right? It's harassment of transgender individuals, right? That simply call them by, or if you don't want to use their pronouns, right? You could call them by their name, right? That's a option that conservatives have, right? But you count this as what, censorship? I don't understand why you would bring this up. Go ahead.
I'm saying this is something clear in policy. Conservatives believe that you are the gender that you are born into, right? I think it's rude. I would call somebody by their name if they had like a goofy pronoun that I'm not interested in. But this is a policy that favors one side of the political spectrum and is weaponized against people who have a genuine belief
literally
that
say the same thing about not saying the N-word. You could literally say the same thing. Like, you could say like it's biased towards the alt-right that you can't say the N-word on Twitter.
Yep.
I mean,
but you can say the N-word on Twitter in certain contexts.
Well, what you're complaining, and you can probably misgender someone in certain
He just want to say it.
Yeah, same here.
Just want to say it.
So
why can't I do it?
No, I mean honestly, Jake, I think that's a bit of a like reductionist point of view.
Tim Pool guy really didn't want to say it, bring it up, but that's his response. But what do you expect from him?
Jake,
I'll give you a response.
Jake then Denims.
No.
Sure.
I didn't bring it up, but you're like, I just want to say it. You're trying to.
Well, I know, but this is the thing, right? You can use the N-word in some circumstances, and you're
no. Let's be real here. This idea that conservatives are all just getting banned because they say the N-word or whatever is really reductionist and not true.
Absolutely, of course.
What Sean said really clarifies it a little bit better. Is that conservatives are much more bigoted. We got that one with the misgendering thing, and conservatives are more likely to spread COVID misinformation. We got that one also. There's actually there was a different study done. I think it was done by either Stanford or Yale. It was one of those ones. And they found that Donald Trump was one of the biggest spreaders of COVID misinformation on Twitter. So people point to Donald Trump, for example, getting fact checked as conservative bias, but then it's like Donald Trump at the same time is spreading more COVID misinformation. And really quick, one more thing, if I could just add, I find this really ironic every time we talk about these conservative censorship topics, because conservatives are so quick to believe this systemic bias towards conservatives exists because they're so desperate to be the little bitch baby snowflakes. But then you turn around and talk about systemic racism, which is a real documented thing with scores of data. And they're like, I don't know, I saw one black guy that succeeded one time. It's it's all based on anecdotes, and it's really hypocritical. It's a fun.
Actual Jake, yes. Okay, actual Jake, yes, you can say the N-word, but you can't say it in all the fun ways they want to say it, right? It's not.
Well, it's even beyond that. It's beyond the N-word discussion. It's beyond the N-word discussion.
Exactly.
Really, the idea is that I mean, the N-word is obviously that has a sordid past, and we've all had this communal discussion forever. Don't fucking say it. That's easy. Done. As far as the other shit, right? The entire the COVID misinformation, all of your bullshit that you get banned for is literally just anti-science numbskull shit. I'm anti-trans, science is against you. Oh, I'm anti-COVID, science is against you. Global warming, science is against you. It's all this shit all the time. I thought facts didn't give a shit about your feelings, guys. What the fuck is all this feels shit? I feel like I should be able to misgender. Shut up. Be a kind person. Have actual political beliefs besides this sort of woke, anti-woke counterculture bullshit where you just fucking virtue signal to your tiny little conservative base and you go, hey, Wolfpack, if you give me 10 subs, I'm gonna say the N-word. And I don't know if you actually do that. I don't mean to cast that on you.
Oh, now I got to take a line. Hold on. Now I got to take a line.
CTV has to defend himself.
Go ahead, defend yourself.
Yeah. So the reality here is, the reality, of course you have it, right? You don't know what quality when you see it. I mean, that's obvious from the start looking at what you're wearing, right? Because that's clearly a Walmart.
Is that the only thing? Is that
right?
it?
So going on from there.
You want me to put another one on?
Right, so going on from there, I have to take a line from my man Chase Mitchell, right? Because clearly all the fuck anybody else is doing here is this straw man symposium, right? We got straw men over here and we got straw men over here, right? So let's attack straw men that are not even in the fucking room so that other people, right, that might be aligned with some type of similar ideology just goes, well, hell, that don't fucking talk about me.
What you do.
So what the fuck are you wanting anybody else in the room?
Okay, so what do you want to say?
Or is this just some type of lefty infighting circle jerk? What the fuck are y'all doing right now?
Denims. Gotta throw it to Denims. Denims hasn't got to talk yet.
I was gonna make the exact point Jake made right before he made it. I'm sorry. Conservatives are just anti-science. You just want to complain about how climate change isn't real and the science doesn't agree with you. You want to complain about how COVID isn't real and the science doesn't agree with you. You want to complain about how masks don't work. The science doesn't agree with you.
Just got mad about Lil Nas 2 seconds ago.
It's fucking insane.
It's free speech as fuck.
Okay, and then the biggest problem though is, I'm sorry, your ideas about gender that you learned from 5th grade biology are not comprehensive. I don't know how else to explain this. If you just look at anything about intersex people and realize how many of these people exist, you have no leg to stand on. I don't understand. I can sort of understand how you can get a little bit pissy when you see neopronouns and you're just no, this is a step too far. But when it comes to people who are trans and they're just asking for she, her, or they, them, I just don't understand. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's very scientific to conflate intersex people with transgender people.
I don't get why it bothers you.
Wait, I want to get clear. Tyler was the next to get the
what don't you get?
Why does it bother you?
Yeah.
What bother me?
Why does any of that shit bother you?
In terms of pronouns, he was talking.
What we just talked about. You were here.
In terms of, I'm not sure. Does that bother you, Tyler? I'm not sure.
What that somebody uses? What that somebody wants me to use the pronouns that they want me to use?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I don't believe that it identifies.
Okay, I don't believe your name is Tyler. Okay, your name is Jared for no reason because I feel away.
What? Might be.
Bro, so hold on. These are some bad arguments, guys.
So calm down, buddy. So if somebody wants me to use a pronoun, so say that someone is born or somebody identifies as a transgender female, that means you're born as a male, right? So if somebody identifies as a transgender female, they're not a female to me, so I'm not going to identify them as such.
Wait, why not?
Hold on. Now that does not mean that I am going to quote unquote misgender them. I will go by whatever the fuck their name is. If you change your name from Tom to Tracy, then go ahead. I will go ahead and identify as you as Tracy, and I'll talk about that. And I'll try to stay away from gender specific pronouns. But I'm not going to sacrifice what I believe to be true just because you want me to do it. If you told me, hold on. If you told me that your feelings will get fucking hurt if I don't tell you that the sky is fucking red, I'm not going to tell you that the sky is fucking red. Your feelings just get hurt.
You can't distinguish between sex and gender. Hold on.
You're like, no.
So Denims right now is again assuming that I don't believe that there's a difference between sex and gender, and I do. See, that's a problem that you have. That's a problem that actual Jake has since I've been on here saying all you people do on this show. All you have done is overgeneralize conservatives.
Sorry, we're not generalizing.
Instead of attacking my argument and asking me, you're just overgeneralizing conservatives.
I have to defend myself.
All three of you are raising your hand. Wait, give me a second. Give me. Hey, we need some law and order in here, okay? I'm now a law and order moderator, okay? Okay, I'm gonna stand on the moderator's line. We're gonna throw it over to Denims first. Then, since you're all raising your hand, there's Denims, actual Jake, Prime, but try to not do it super long since all of you are gonna get to talk, and you can only respond so much.
Okay, Jared, I want to tell you something. This is not an overgeneralization, okay? You literally said verbatim, that's not your gender.
My name's not Jared. Who are you talking to, Karen?
No, I'm talking to you. That's what I feel your name is. There are no generalizations being made. You literally
all you have done is overgeneralize.
Okay, if you let me finish, I can explain it to you so you can understand it. You literally said, that's not that person's gender. So clearly, if you
never
can't
said that.
Let her finish.
Okay.
You can go back and you can go back and check. You said that was that person's gender, and you won't you can't respect that person's gender. Or that like I will use she her if they want it, but that's not what their gender is. These aren't generalizations.
You said it goes against
one.
Wait,
for a second.
Hold on, I'm gonna respond to what you said.
Yeah, I understand. Give me a second here. So it's gonna since it is 3 people on one right now. What it's gonna be is Denims, then back to I'm about to call you Jared, Tyler, then over to actual, then back to Tyler, then to Prime, then to Tyler. It only makes sense he gets to respond to each time. Tyler, you can go.
Okay. So for one, I never said that I don't or I'm not going to refer to them as their gender, right? I said that if they believe that their gender is not the same as their, or I'm sorry, if they say that they want me to respond to what they say that their gender is, and if I don't believe that their gender matches their biological sex, right, which is clear if they say that they're trans, so it's very easy to decipher, then no, I am not going to respond, or I'm not going to respond to you as that.
So
that's it. That has nothing to do with gender. I never said that gender and sex were the same thing.
So why is the question?
First of all, pronouns are not a derivative of gender. Pronouns are a derivative of sex, not gender.
Pronouns are a derivative of gender.
What source backs that up? Why do you believe
every person that has a gender that you disagree with that says my pronouns are this,
and then you get mad? So saying that somebody. Hold on. We can deduce this really easily. We can deduce this really easily.
Just let me explain it to you.
What is she a derivative of? What is the word she a derivative of?
It doesn't matter.
Of woman. What is woman a derivative of?
Woman.
Female. What is female a derivative of?
Of femininity.
Wait, hold on.
And
how even if it is, that's irrelevant.
Explain this to you? Can I explain
this? Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
3 people talking at once.
Definitionally,
give me a second. Give me a second here. Okay. Give me a second here. Okay.
Let me
2 people talking at once, and I got a magic trick for all of you right now. I know this is wild, but when 3 people talk, you don't get 3 times the information. You actually only get none of the information. So you need to have a tiny bit of order here, okay? So Tyler, did you get to say your piece?
So yeah, I'm just so just to clear this up for like 10 seconds.
Wait. You just said you got to say your piece though.
Well, you just asked me, so I just
and you said yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, then I meant no.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. You got 5 seconds. Can you do it in 5 seconds?
Okay, yeah. So she is a derivative of woman. Woman is a derivative of female. Female is biological. Has nothing to do with gender.
Okay, Jake, and then we're gonna go to Prime, and I see Sean is Dragon's Back to Reality.
There's something I really got to respond here with that.
Yeah, but other people raised their hand first. I got it. Like,
I didn't know it was like a raising hand thing.
Oh, you weren't here for the intro. You weren't watching. You just kind of walked into the show.
Oh, so we got somebody that's not an actual fan of the Hippie Dippy franchise. We got somebody
that's gonna affect the voters. That's gonna affect the voters.
Yeah, so fuck Hunter, right?
Okay, so I will get it to you, Hunter. I promise. You have enough time. I know I can get it to you by the end of it.
Thank you,
Jake, Prime, Sean, Hunter.
Okay, so are you going to go full biological essentialism here with the anti-abortion hat, and that's the way you want to dig your grave, or do you want to like actually have a fucking cogent thought in your head and just understand that gender is literally social? It has very little to do as far as the pronouns.
I didn't say that it wasn't.
As far as the pronouns are concerned, it has very little to do with sex. Sex sometimes informs how people will, of course, have primary and secondary sexual characteristics. Absolutely, but sometimes, guess what? Maybe you don't want your big dick. Maybe you want a nice pussy. Maybe you're gonna get one. That's fucking great. Have you seen a neo-vagina? They look the fucking same. Who gives a shit? If someone says, hey, this is my social pronoun, these are the pronouns in a social space, because it doesn't fucking matter when you're checking out their genome what you call them in the fucking science book. It doesn't matter. What they want is for you socially to understand and accept the fact to understand. I'll tell you, to understand and accept the fact that, hey, this is who the fuck I am, and we have general understanding of one another. The reason you should care about that is because we live in a world with one another, and it makes a lot more.
Oh, feelings. Yeah, okay.
It's not feelings.
Oh, this is such a bad argument.
So can I respond to that?
Someone should just let me take over this one.
All right, give me a second. Give me a second here.
Feelings argument.
It's I'm about to end this.
No, that's
okay. There's so many people on the show, and I understand everybody wants to respond to everything. But
can I respond?
Sean hasn't said anything. How long? Prime raised his hand 10 minutes ago.
Dylan, I'm going to exit this. Jake, I'm going to stop responding. I only want to say one thing, and then somebody else can talk.
Has nothing to do with feelings.
I think that you and I are going to be able to agree with this. So regardless if we believe the same thing on this specific point, it doesn't really matter to how I go about it. Just because I don't agree with what you label yourself as, again, I told you from the beginning, I'm not going to be that asshole that goes out of my way to make you feel uncomfortable. I am going to try and call you by the name that you prefer me to do. I think that's a healthy compromise. Who am I to say that your name is more masculine or feminine, right? If you want to go ahead and say that your name's Tracy, fine, your name is Tracy. I will go ahead and do that, and that doesn't sacrifice my own beliefs that I don't believe you to be what you are. I don't think that that's an issue. I don't know why anybody else would try and argue past that if I will call you by the name you asked me to call you.
Okay. So we're going to throw it to Prime, because Prime would probably respond to that and probably disagrees with them, so I'm going to throw it to Prime. And then Sean, then Hunter.
So actually, I'd like to reach out an olive branch to my conservative brothers here, and that I don't think you should be able to compel speech. I mean, try to relate this to the original topic, right, into the censorship and all that stuff, right? I don't think you should compel speech. So if you are going to call someone by their name, right, like the name that they give you, right, like let's say it's Tracy rather than Tad or something, right? Then if you are then I don't think that's I shouldn't decide for trans individuals whether that's rude or not. But I would say that like we shouldn't try to force people to use words they don't want to use, right?
I also find it hilarious that Denim's an actual Jake.
Come on.
And then started by calling me a name that is not even my name. I just find that to be just
okay, Prime.
Yeah. So to reach out again, I think we shouldn't be trying to compel speech, right? We were going to respecting free speech. Like free speech is also involves like not saying things you don't want to say, right? Like that's part of free speech, right? Not compelling someone. So I want to say that that's fine, right? And maybe we can actually move back to the original subject because as usual, once we have these political debates, they end up moving towards somehow, no matter what the topic is, like to the bodies of our trans brothers and sisters. So maybe we could move back to the original topic, talking about big tech censorship, right? And so I think as long as conservatives, let's say, like for instance, on YouTube, aren't misgendering someone, right? Like they are using the name, the given name of a person, then why should we care? Like, why should we care? Like, I don't think it's up to us on the left to be forcing them, to policing them in that way, right? Like, as long as it's not, but like, obviously misgendering, I'm going to make it very clear. Misgendering is harassment, in my opinion. And so that should be put in, that should be against the rules.
Okay, Sean, you are next.
Yeah, so like I don't know why we ended up in a weird like debate about transgender people. My point was that this policy at Twitter favors one side, and I think the debate that spawned from this with all the virtue signaling shows that people are passionate about this. My point is big tech is on one of these sides, and their policies reflect that. Like, I have no problem calling you by like if you're trying to transition gender, I have no problem calling you by your pronoun. That's not the point. The point is that some conservatives, like the people on this panel, believe that she refers only to biological females, and that's what they call you. And Twitter disagrees, and that is the left-wing position to disagree with that. That was the overall point. It wasn't about whether or not that's right or wrong. The point is that these policies cut in direction of one person or one side and against another side. That's what I was making. And as far as it being harassment is persistent. And repeatedly, like you can use misgendering as a component of harassment, but on its own, like if you literally can't tell and you make your best guess, that's not harassment.
Okay,
that's true. Yeah.
Next is going to be over to Hunter.
All right. Yeah, Tyler, I would really like a chance to talk to you, man, because I see your hat. I'm guessing from the hat alone, you're probably like a Trump fan too, or at least you were. And
then you would be guessing wrong.
Oh, really? Okay. I guess
really.
Okay, wow, very surprising. So, I used to be a conservative, so I feel like
feeling that you get surprised a lot.
I missed who said that, but it sounded funny.
CTV.
Gotcha. Yeah, if I could just explain to you, Tyler, some of the stuff. Like, so first of all, the pronoun thing, right? Like, when trans people are transitioning, they usually, in like most cases, most every time, they are trying to present themselves as the gender that they identify as, right? So they might be biologically male, sure, but their gender might differ from their biology, and they might identify as a woman, not as a female. And that's what gender dysphoria is. You know, a lot of the times I think people misunderstand the argument and they think that trans people are up here literally claiming that, like, if their penis magically turns into a vagina or something. Like, trans people have gender dysphoria. They are, like, most trans people are painfully aware of that disconnect there. And one of the ways that they mitigate that, which is literally supported by scientific and medical consensus, is to begin transitioning, sometimes socially, which means they try to present more like the gender that they identify as, which means that for the most part, they are going to look like that gender. You probably pass transgender people all the time and don't even realize it because they pass, right? And for the most part, most trans people pass. Enough so that using pronouns really comes down to a utilitarian thing more than anything else. If you were in a crowded restaurant, right, and you saw somebody across the room in a dress with long hair, what are you going to say to the waiter? Are you going to be like, sorry, I'm finishing up here. Are you going to say like, what? I guess I'll go talk to that biological
and round's
man.
over.
Okay. That's what I was going to say after everyone started yelling at me.
Round is over.
I don't
Wait, guys, round's over.
Good job.
Round's over.
Appreciate you.
We have the results for polling. I'll let chat vote for a few more seconds since anybody might just be listening to audio. Then go and vote now. That was a hell of a round, wasn't it?
So proud of Hunter, by the way.
Do you think you guys?
Yeah. I am very proud of Hunter of saying all of those great things that was not relevant to anything that I had to say.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying the pronouns were that you wouldn't respect pronouns.
I got a question. I got a question for the participants. I got an actual question for the participants. I got a question that's relevant. Okay. So, do you guys want to do? We have one more topic after this. Do you guys want to continue on this topic or shift to the next one? Because it seems like there's still a lot to
What's the next topic?
Yeah,
let me check. James, do you remember what is the next topic?
If I remember right, did we cover?
We've covered filibuster, big tech censorship. Do you remember what was next?
We should stick to the trans issue.
Isn't cancel culture the next topic?
Gun control.
Culture.
I think gun control is one of them.
Was it? It was gun control and one second. I'll get it. I'll just let everybody finish. I had it on the list. 1 second.
I'd be able to stick around probably for the cancel culture part.
But, cancel culture. That was it. Thank you. Okay. Hunter was just keeping that in pocket. He wasn't going to give it to me.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were looking for that one.
He doesn't even watch the show regularly, right?
Already.
We have the results. We have the. I've been DM'd by the judges, and we have the results right here on this piece of paper.
I'm gonna guess that it's me.
Everybody always thinks it's them. Everybody also thinks it. Man, this result's really surprising. Really surprising. Can you believe this result, guys? It's super surprising, actually. So I'm just still in shock over the result here.
Looks like
Sorry, CTV. You've been kicked out of the ring. I'll let you say your moniker, though, because you've been a great service to the show.
Well, this is the Hippy Dippy Roundtable. You fuckers need to get a lot funnier, right? And there needs to be a lot less disingenuous attacks and some actual truth.
I like how
That's
we're
my
just
name, bro.
I like how we're just eliminating.
Wait, what happened to the moniker? What about the moniker?
I like how we're eliminating.
And he just left.
All
He
the
didn't even do the
conservatives.
moniker.
Again, as with elections, just be more likable.
Well, don't worry. We have everybody's favorite conservative coming on next.
Do we?
Second.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You have to
Everyone's favorite conservative.
He didn't howl.
You have to
Somebody know the surprise guest?
Who's everyone's favorite conservative?
Sean Head. The surprise guest of the show. Nobody knew about.
Hi.
I don't know who that is.
Hello.
Welcome,
Can you hear
Sean.
me?
Hello, hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
It's nice to meet
All right,
you.
cool. Hey,
The only
everybody.
person
I've been
I've
watching,
ever-
and it's been a train wreck.
The only person I've ever seen with an American flag in the background that doesn't make me want to kill myself.
What?
So,
in Minecraft. In
Actual
the
Jake.
sorry,
Minecraft.
Jay. Yeah, seriously.
Actual Jake.
It's
You
really
look
nice
at my
to.
background quick.
Can you what?
Oh,
You look at my background quick, actual Jake.
Don't see it.
There's a flag right there.
There
I
it
do
is.
see it. I do
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it. Second person.
It's-
Chat, take that into
So,
consideration when voting.
It's nice to meet you, Sean Head. I've been a fan of your work, and I want to say hi to James. Didn't get to do that. James, I love your work on YouTube. Can you get me Matt Dillahunty's autograph? Is that a thing you can do? Is that a thing I can ask for?
I can get you
Okay.
Matt Dillahunty's autograph
Thank
too.
you very much.
You're all friends,
We're
and I
done.
hate it. Let's go to the next topic, which is cancel culture. Is cancel culture a real issue, or is it being overhyped and it's complete nonsense? I'm going to, of course, throw it first to Sean Head since he just joined.
So I actually do think that cancel culture is a real thing. I think lately it's kind of being overhyped. Like, as always, conservatives are running with it, but they're like calling everything cancel culture. They're calling, like, for example, the Dr. Seuss thing, where Dr. Seuss, the publication like itself, wanted to get rid of, stop publishing those few books, and they were like, "Oh, this is cancel culture." Like, no, that's not cancel culture. But I do believe that cancel culture is a real thing, and I actually do believe that it's like a problem. And the scariest thing that I heard recently was during a Trump speech. He briefly said during like his normal, where he's like, "Oh, the radical Democrats are coming," and like you roll your eyes. But he had one point where he was like, you know, they do this, and he said, they want to get you fired from your jobs. And that, he didn't expand on that. But that kind of scared me, because that is going to become a very important conversation, like in the political sphere soon. People getting fired from, or like being forced to resign, like from college campuses and stuff like that. And it's a real fear that like normal everyday people have. Like they can't keep up with the newest terms and stuff like that, like lingo and everything. They're scared that if they say a joke on Facebook, you know, their boss will find out or whatever. And I feel like that's a real conversation that's going to be happening. And I feel like the left needs to take it seriously, because the right is going to run with it. And it's a real fear that normal people have. And there's a lot of examples of it actually happening. Like that poor college girl that like said the N-word or something, like 5 years ago, and they like kept it. Did you guys see that story?
Yeah.
They held on to that for 5 years. And then when she got into college, the person, this like psychotic person, was just like, oh, hey, here. And like she had to, you know, not get into that college anymore. Stuff like that. And there's also like a New York Times writer and like that
the Teen Vogue thing too.
Yeah. And so like this is a real issue, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, sweetie, it's just accountability culture. And like, no, that's not what's happening here. And I feel like the left needs to get a little smarter about it. Yeah.
Denims was the first to raise their hand, so I'm going to throw it to Denims first.
I wanted to make a quick distinction. When you talk about cancel culture being real, you're not talking about like giant celebrities getting canceled, because realistically, these people will bounce right fucking back. Like it doesn't matter how big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, or like the James Charles shit. It's like, he got canceled, all right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the real issue is with workers, ordinary individuals, right, who can't fight back. So I think, I'm not sure, Head, you mentioned the New York Times thing, and there's lots of things the New York Times has done. But the one that comes to mind is the one woman who went to a party dressed like maybe in some sort of racially insensitive costume, right? And then they did this expose about this. This was like a long time ago it happened, right? And the woman had already like felt like terrible about it, right? But they decided to put this woman on blast, right? For no particular reason, and it didn't actually. She wasn't anyone, like she wasn't even a public figure, right? Yeah. They just decided to destroy this woman's life. Why? What did that actually accomplish, right? Now, can cancel culture be useful, right, to call actual abusers? I think so. I think we can use that to say that no, you cannot go through life using your money and your power, right, and have no consequences whatsoever. But even then, as Denims stated before she left, in that case, it rarely works, right? So I feel like the people with the least power end up being hurt the most, right? And the people with the most power, the intended targets, end up being hurt the least any which way. And even when they're not hurt, right? So you'll have and you'll have a lot of these people. They'll be on CNN, right? Like fucking J.K. Rowling, again, for example. She is on CNN complaining not being canceled while she's in an audience of millions of people, right? Mm-hmm. So again, it's the little people who get hurt, the big people get to walk away.
Okay, next I saw actual Jake and then Hunter.
Okay. I definitely think there's a little bit where you're right and a little bit where you're wrong. Definitely there was an overcorrection, because no one had been held accountable for a very long time, or at least not no one, but nobody that needed to be held accountable. And so you have a surge, and this tends to happen when a vast minority group, whatever that may be, whether it's trans, LGBT, racial minorities, whatever, or ethnic minorities, religious minorities, any of them, you will have this pushback, because for a long time they were voiceless, and they were not being heard at all. And so it's you made your own bed when you decided not to listen to them in the first case. And sometimes that's going to happen. You're going to have these sort of social casualties along the way as we move towards something that's a better system, in which case the better system would be where we just hold people accountable to their words at the time, and we call it out. This is what the whole anti-racist movement is, that I know a lot of right-wingers don't like to hear because they get upset about it for some reason. But really what anti-racism is, and any other kind of like anti-homophobia, anti-transphobia, whatever it might be in your space, is, hey, actively calling that out right there when it happens, not laughing and going, ha ha ha, I'm being socially awkward, and then letting that stew and percolate. That's the point, right? We're going to get to a point where we just go, that's not cool. Now, do I think that someone should have their life ruined because when they were 14 years old, they said the N-word on Xbox Live? No. Do I think that that it's reasonable for someone that says the N-word tomorrow to get canceled, whether or not you're a mom that sells cookies and drives her kids to soccer or not, or whatever? Yeah, you kind of know now. There's been a sort of a statute of limitations. We know now, right now, you don't get to do that shit anymore. So there's a little bit of stuff where you got to be edgy in the past, but if you continue to do that in the future, I mean, you know what the terms of service are, both on all these platforms and in the country. Like you just know it.
What should the consequences be, though? What should the consequences? So let's say
relative to whatever happens.
We had
right?
so we had talking about a mom and the N-word that literally just happened. There was a woman within a grocery store, right, or something. She was talking to a clerk or whatever, right, behind the counter. She called him the N-word, and she's like, "Well, that's what you are. You're an N-word, right?" And then no one. I don't think she actually been identified. But if we could identify this woman, what would your prescription be for her?
Will my prescription be?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a specific social prescription for every single one of these scenarios of racism, but if she has a position, say she's a teacher or something, fucking get fired. But if you're an Amazon worker, I mean, like is Amazon even going to fire that person? They might. It just depends. So I mean, don't be calling people the N-words. Go ahead.
It should be adjusted based on like how severe your crime is, right? Like if you said a word, it's like you probably shouldn't say that or whatever. But like if you
by crime you mean social crime.
Yes,
yeah,
but if you
I don't need anyone to be jailed for this shit unless it's harassment.
So Hunter, can I respond, Jake?
Sure. Hunter wanted to go though. So Hunter, then you.
No, I'm not trying to cut anybody.
Tyler, you can go ahead. Tyler, it's all right.
Okay, Tyler.
I appreciate that, man. So Jake, so when you're saying that people that are saying the N-word that are racist, are you saying only white people, or do you apply that to black people as well if they say it?
I love that question. Are you saying it in like because it's one of your colloquial friends, or is it because are you saying it to a song, or are you calling and denigrating someone based on the color of their skin? There's obvious social differences. It's not just the word, it's how it's used in relative. We are not ants. We can understand social faux pas and understand socialization. We don't have to just go, that word blacklisted. I guess that was a
okay. So
no
just
pun intended.
So just to clarify, then are you saying I'm not trying to straw man your argument, so correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Are you saying that if a white person says it in as a term of endearment, that it would be socially acceptable?
I mean, okay. So again, if you give your white friends the N-word pass, that's fucking weird to me. And if you are a white person with the pass, you're strange to me. Now there's some people that claim like I grew up in the neighborhood and I got friends and they gave me the pass. Whatever, dude. That's weird to me. If you want to do that, cool. But I mean, you know, in the world that you're living, if he's saying, hey man, hey bro, and then they dap up, and then another person sees it and films it, you're not gonna get canceled for that. Obviously, there was like social consent there. If you're screaming at a teller and saying you're an N-word, that's what you are. You're an N-word. Like what the fuck
so yes or no?
So yes, you think that was like a Kendrick Lamar song?
You didn't actually answer. You didn't actually.
No, you really did. It's nuanced. Yes it's not a yes or no.
I basically
it's literally not a yes or no.
Basically, what I want to know is I want to make sure that you're just consistent with everybody. Are you saying that in the context of whatever, if you're saying it as a term of endearment, or if you're saying it in a quote unquote racist way against another person, do you hold that same stance no matter what the race or ethnicity is?
Didn't I just say that it mattered based on the social interaction? Out loud
with my words? I just outlined that in the question that I just asked you, but you're
right. I said out loud that it matters based on the social interaction, right? Like if I go up to one of my friends and I'm like, "Hey, you sexy bitch," like, and that's one of my friends, they'll be like, oh, "Okay, cool, yeah, you are also a sexy bitch, Mr. Corn." And then I go, and then if I say, "Hey, you sexy bitch," to some random woman who doesn't know me, we have no rapport whatsoever, what's her fucking response gonna be? Obviously, that's me being a fucking weirdo, not being cool. Like, yeah, if you just say, "Hey, what up, my N-word," to a random black guy who you think you might be cool with at the 7-Eleven, I don't think that's gonna fucking fly, my guy. But if you are friends for lifelong with that guy and you're part of the neighborhood, you're part of this culture, like that happens from time to time, but it's not like it's pretty rare, right? And it's irrelevant, right?
I don't care about the rarity. I just want to make sure. So if in your own in your own hypothetical, when you were talking about some sexy bitch, in that hypothetical, if you went up to one of your friends, a white friend or a black friend or whatever, and you said, "Hey, you sexy N-word," should you or should you not be canceled?
Well, I wouldn't, so I hope you cancel me because that's not my culture.
I mean, like, or somebody else people before getting bogged down in this.
Right?
We don't have to focus on the N-word. There's so many other things that people get canceled for, right? Like people get like I think a bigger threat is like being canceled, like being gay, right, and putting up photos of your marriage on some social media, your boss finding out, and then you're fired. I think it's like a bigger reason. This is what people actually.
That's much more unlikely.
That would also be a crime.
But no. But I'm saying this is what cancel culture has also looked. First of all, it depends on
That's discrimination. I think.
It's discrimination, true. But I'm saying like that's
you'd have a lawsuit.
I'm saying that is it. Hold on. I'm saying, and they don't have to say that. Obviously, they can fire you for any fucking reason, right? And then you can fire you because you're gay, but they'll say for another reason, right? So honestly, but my point is that that's a bigger issue, right? Like then people just saying these words, right? These actual people being attacked for who they are, right? And by their place of employment. I think that's a much bigger issue than actual like someone says a words, a slur.
Can I?
Oh, sorry.
You can respond.
Yeah, I just want to say when it comes to the cancel culture thing, I think it really is, there is a lot of nuance there. The N-word is an easy example to point at. I also think it matters how much consequences or negative consequences derive from like said person's racist action. So, for example, if like some soccer mom is like, driving along in like her minivan, right, and like sings the N-word, or even I would say actually, even if a soccer mom is being racist and like uses the N-word in a racist thing, I think racist context, I think that someone should be like, yo, don't talk like that, or you shouldn't be saying that. But I don't think that like there's any harm coming to black people from like Karen saying the N-word or whatever. I think that I mean there could be, but I think
it's broader systemic harm.
But
I agree, Hunter. I agree.
No, you have to analyze how much harm is done here, and that's a lot of the times. That's a lot of the times what the problem is, like what we saw with this Teen Vogue situation, which is this girl made Asian joke tweets was what they really were when she was a minor in high school in 2011 and got fired from her job now as a like nearly 30-year-old woman.
So I think that's exactly what you were saying previously, actual Jake, right? Saying that these things, like,
well,
you have to call these things at the time, right?
Specifically,
so I'll speak on that Teen Vogue thing, right? It seemed to me that this woman, she certainly made a mistake, right? She apologized for it. Like people, from what I understand the situation, someone correct me if I'm wrong, that the employers had already known about this situation, and they talked to her and thought like, no, this is something we can move past. And this is a woman trying to move on for life, because that's a big problem with cancel culture, is that we don't have like forgiveness. Like we can't do exactly what Hunter said, like analyze the situation, see like is this person honest? Are they anti-Asian? If that's what she said previously, are they a racist here, or is it a person who said something offensive at the time, right? Something edgy, right? And then we can understand that maybe they've moved past it, that maybe they've changed, right? So I want to give people room to grow, right? If we don't give people room to grow, then first of all, they won't admit what they've done, right? They'll never admit what they've done, because once they admit what they've done, then the punishment is coming their way one way or the other, right? We can understand that maybe these people can change throughout their lifetimes, and then simply firing them for all this is not necessary.
Okay, I'm going to throw it to Sean, because Sean hasn't gotten to talk about this yet.
Respect. So a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there were a bunch of losers that would write letters to like media organizations when they saw things that they didn't like to complain. And for some reason, these organizations would take these losers seriously. Now all of those losers have Twitter accounts, and it's much easier for them to complain about things they see in their day-to-day lives. So like when we're talking about cancel culture, it's like individual cases are kind of like whatever, like you can pick one and everybody's going to dispute it and all that. But I think it is toxic in our society that there are people on the internet who spend all day on the internet looking for people to target and then harass and get them fired from their job, et cetera, et cetera. And to a Prime's point about us leaving no room for growth, I think that is 100% true, because you'll take a case, and I'll pick one that a lot of you will think the woman is in the wrong, of like Amy Cooper in Central Park, right? And she calls the police on this guy. I think that any dog mom that gets like threatened mildly by a dude would have probably spazzed out in the same way. And for some reason, that is like international news. And we're talking about it. She's fired from her job.
The bird watching guy?
Didn't she call the cops on him?
Yeah, she did. She weaponized. Well, okay.
I picked a case that you guys would deliberately be against her, because this is my point, right? So she called the cops on him. She like acknowledges she made a mistake. The guy specifically said, like, leave her alone shortly after, before they even called into arrest. He even implied that he wasn't interested in testifying against her. His original Facebook post said that he brought dog treats to like scare people who walk their dogs without a leash in that area. But the internet has not relented. The national media has not relented on this woman. So at what point do we say, okay, you looked really bad in this interaction. You probably spazzed out because you're a dog mom and dog moms are cringe as hell. But like, can we move on as a society and let this person come and join us and get an actual job and be cool? Like, where's the redemption portion of it? Are we just going to be vicious and dogpile on this random citizen?
So I think that she should have actually had some sort of punishment for what she did, because in my opinion, she called it a fucking execution. She knew exactly what she's fucking doing against that individual. She actually hold on. White women, hold on. I'm not gonna let that stand. White women have been using their tears, right, to call in violence against African Americans for centuries, right? This is not a new concept, right? But beyond that, right, getting some sort of punishment for what she did. Should this be a forever punishment? No, right? So I think, like, is it a possibility that this woman can grow up in the situation, can understand that what she did was wrong, become a better person at the end of it? Yes, I actually do believe that. But let's not like minimize what she did. She was calling it a motherfucking execution.
I'm minimizing what she did.
Absolutely prime.
Non-issue.
Okay, absolutely prime.
Jake, and I want to be national news.
Yeah. I want to push back on
denims.
I want to push back on both what Sean said and doubling down on what Prime just said, which is absolutely correct, and then pushing back just a little bit with Hunter. Not a ton. With the harm thing. With the harm thing, sure, one instance of saying the N-word at one black person might not seem like a bunch of harm, and in the minuscule it is. In the macro scale, this happens every day. It's like saying, hold on. It's like saying one pail of water in the tub isn't going to overflow it. But yeah, it will if everybody else also does a pail of water. And eventually these things stack up and it leads to systemic normalized racism. This is harm. Another thing with the police, anytime you call the police on a black person for fucking anything, it is weaponizing the police just because of how that apparatus operates in the United States. And I understand there are justified cases where you probably should call the police, but let it be known that it's more likely to end up per capita, not overall, per capita, because there are fewer black people, but you know, that's how per capita works. It's per capita more likely to end in violent altercation with the police. Whether or not that person is armed or whatever, who cares? They're supposed to be able to be armed. It's the Second Amendment. I don't know why people are worried about this, that kind of thing. It's just weird. There's a lot of harm that happens in the micro to minority groups, whether it's black, whether it's LGBT, whatever. And it is harm. Just because it's a little bit of harm doesn't mean it's not harm, and it absolutely exacerbates overall harm. And I know that's not really what you're saying. I just want to clarify.
Well, no, I'm not. I wasn't even saying that there's no harm.
10 seconds quick, because denims. We only have 40 seconds left. So Hunter, then denims, you both get 20.
All I was gonna say is I'm not saying there's no harm in a white woman calling a black guy the N-word. I mean, if a white woman says the N-word and it's caught on video, like we've seen, I just think the consequences should fit the crime overall, and I think that sometimes there needs to be some nuance there, and we need to be like willing to look into it. And I do think that consequences play a role. Again, though, I'm not saying that there's no consequences to a white woman deliberately calling someone the N-word.
I didn't think you said that.
Well, I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Denims?
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to also add on really quickly. It's a lot like how we view voting, where like there's a common talking point of like, well, one vote doesn't matter. And it's like, well, if millions of people say that, then it kind of does. The other things I wanted to say, I'll try and be as fast as possible. I think we should make distinctions between children and adults. True. If a child does something, like they said the N-word in a group chat when they were 16, I just don't care that much, okay? If you're 40 and you're calling people the N-word and you're trying to use it as a slur, I care a lot more. And I want to make a distinction between people who did it once and repeat offenders who continuously keep getting caught doing this
also
shit.
True.
Okay, so we have the votes are in, and this is a first. It's a split vote between the judges on who should be voted out. And the two people who are up are Prime and Tyler. So I will read out the votes. The first vote is from Danabo to vote out Tyler. The second vote is from Geek to vote out Prime. And the last one, which is a celebrity guest judge, which I will reveal at the end, voted out Prime. I'm sorry, Prime. You have been voted out by the judges.
Thanks so much, Dylan, for letting me on this. Really appreciate that. Nice to meet you, James. Like I'm actually a big fan of your work. See a lot of it. And nice to talk to all the rest of you and meet you. My name is Prime Kai. I run my own channel. Come visit me, PRMECAYES. We have panels, we have discussions, we'll have an open panel right after, well, not right after this, but soon. We're going to have an open panel. So please come check us out. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next, I'm going to, okay, we're going to continue the topic on this one. We're going to just keep going on cancel culture. Yeah, so you can keep going. Free to keep going.
Well, now actually would probably be a good time for me to split, because I've been on here for about an hour now, and I got to get going.
Damn, you should have said that before we kicked out Prime.
Oh, I didn't. I wanted to see Prime go. I mean,
wow, Hunter Avallone, you try to come on the left and you throw a black man under the bus.
I didn't. Yes,
I am
interesting.
There's no harmful consequence. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Thanks a lot for having me on, Dylan. Really appreciate it. Nice meeting you guys. Nice meeting everybody. And nice to see you, Sean. I like your bedroom in your mom's house is very nice. Very nice indeed.
My mom doesn't own a house, but it's nice to see you too.
Nice to see you too, buddy. Go make your 60th video about me. Peace.
It's like 7. You deserve all of them.
Oh, 7. That's a lot better. Okay, yeah. Just I know it's
rivalry here.